What's happening?
What's going on?
Not much. How's your week been going?
It's been going pretty good. How about yours?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Just getting stuff figured out.
Yeah.
Um, didn't see you at church on Sunday. You were working, I guess.
No, the roads were too icy.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they were. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when we had that blowing snow and rain and wind and everything.
Oh, yeah. I guess so. Yeah, and then we had the Valentine's banquet.
Yeah,
Didn't see you there either.
because the roads were too icy.
Not that night they weren't. Everybody came.
Oh, was that night?
Yeah.
I thought it was right after church.
No, it was at 5 o'clock at night.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was under the assumption it was right after church.
So what you're saying is you don't follow directions.
Not the best, but
Yeah, no, it was pretty good.
That's
Pretty
good.
good. Yeah. Other than that, how's it been going?
good. Just busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought we would talk about, and I wanted to touch on just a couple things
Mm-hmm.
about grace. What does grace mean to you?
Oh, grace means a lot.
Yeah. It's unmerited favor of God, emphasizing its role in Christian theology and daily life.
Yeah.
Do we deserve grace?
No. I
But
mean,
he gives it to us.
yeah, he gives it to us. He gave it to me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
When I was very undeserving of it.
But do you give the same grace that God gives to you? Are you good at giving that same amount of grace to other people?
Sometimes that's a little bit harder, but I try my best to give the same amount of grace.
Even if somebody's doing you wrong?
Yeah, that's way harder to do, but I try my best.
Or like, do you give grace to, like, if you're being impatient, or if somebody isn't doing something to your standards, do you still exercise grace?
To the best of my ability, as much as I can handle it.
Right.
Then it starts to get a little trickier, but
Yeah, I mean it's not easy to give grace.
No.
I mean, we get tested on it all the time. In Romans 5:20 it says, "Where sin increased, grace abounded all the more." So how has grace exceeds your faults? I mean, that's we fall short every single day.
yeah, almost every minute, it seems like.
Right. And so, where we fall short, God shows us grace even more. It just grows even more.
Mm-hmm.
We keep messing up.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times we're just so short-sighted that we don't get it our way. We don't get it the way we want it right now, that we just
give up.
we
Sometimes,
get upset.
Mhm.
God said, it says in 2 Corinthians 12:9 that my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. So how do we explore the sufficiency of grace in personal trials? Where do you see God coming in and showing you grace in your trials?
He gives me grace for the ability to keep pushing forward, not giving up,
Mm-hmm.
and just all around trying my best, even though I fall and I stumble and I may not get it right the first time. He always gives me that second chance to try it again.
Right. Like, man, he never gives up on us. That's
No.
for sure. I mean, but we tend to give up on people all the time.
Yeah, we don't even realize it half the time.
Like, we just give up, like, write people off.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give them a second chance.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's, you know, you give enough chances that you got to walk away sometimes, but
Hmm.
man,
No, I get where you're coming from with that. There's been a lot of times where I don't give other people a second chance. I'm just like, okay,
mhm.
you've done it once. I've told you to try it again, and you don't do it.
Right. And with grace comes forgiveness. I mean,
Hmm. That's
what is that for you? I mean, what is
it's definitely forgiveness has definitely gotten better over the
so what
time.
about in your family? Has there been a lot of forgiveness in your family, do you think? Like, do you have any stories of like where a family member forgave another for a significant mistake without expecting anything in return?
Not that I can think
Basically
of.
mirroring the forgiveness God offers through grace.
I mean, I seen it more when my grandma and my grandpa were alive, but
Right.
I don't really
Have you
notice
ever
it.
forgiven anybody without expecting anything in return?
Yeah, I have.
Like, is it easy for you or is it hard for you?
It's sometimes easy and it's sometimes hard.
Do you struggle with like, man, I really wish they would acknowledge the fact that I forgive them and
Yeah,
maybe wash my truck or something?
yeah. I've been that way a couple times, but yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I think that's just
it's even harder forgiving your enemies. And I know we always touch on that a couple times. Forgiving your enemies, that's
right.
the hardest thing to do.
Have you ever had anybody in your own family wrong you
Yeah,
and you forgive them? Or is it just something that's really difficult to forgive when it's in the family?
this last time it was pretty hard to forgive, but
Yeah.
it took a little while.
Yeah, for sure. It always cuts deep when it's in your family,
Yeah,
even friends. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Maybe I think that I forgive, but I don't really know. I mean, when we talk about forgiving the way God forgives, I mean, it's like the grace that he shows us with how we constantly disrespect God day in
hmm.
and day out by our sinful nature, that he is just there to love on us no matter what. I mean,
And he always forgives us no matter what we
yeah,
do. We
yeah.
could
We turn to him and we supposedly repent and do all these things, and he's always there to pick us back up.
and you go back and do the same thing you just repented of.
Yeah, and we're not so easy. We don't do that very much.
Yeah.
I mean, and then with grace is patience. I mean, how are you with patience?
I mean, before I started coming back to church and really getting involved, my patience was not there. I didn't really have
Yeah.
patience for anything. But now it's gotten way better. I'm more patient than anything.
Like when at work, your coworker, you have a coworker, and
Yeah.
they are constantly making the same errors over and over and over again. Do you criticize
No,
or do you teach?
I'll teach. I don't criticize.
So God doesn't criticize us rather than he teaches us.
Hmm.
He has enough patience. I mean, oh my gosh, does he have patience for us? But
Yeah.
we learn through our trials and tribulations and things like that. He's teaching us through the mistakes that we make, but he's patient enough to
Guide us through.
guide us through it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what about with, you're doing contract work and stuff like that for people. What about them kind of people? Do you have a lot of patience with them?
Yeah, I'd say. Especially with this one job. I mean, he's been helping us out with stuff
Yeah.
and he's been patient with us, and he's just been super patient with us, and he understands everything that's going on. So
Right.
that's been helpful. But in the past, there's been a couple jobs where I'm like, okay, I'm losing my patience with this person.
Right.
Because it's just the constant nagging and complaining.
And then you think of that, but how much nagging and complaining do we as humans do to God?
a lot.
And he never,
I know. He never says anything about it.
he has
always
patience with us, and he just listens. But one little thing and it's flying off the hinges. You know what I mean? It's like,
it spirals out of control.
yeah. Yeah. So patience is a big one. Forgiveness is huge. Is there anybody that you haven't forgiven?
I'd like to think not, but there's probably one that I completely forgot about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to. I don't think you necessarily have to call them up and say, "Hey, I forgive you."
Yeah, just
But in your heart, is there anybody that hurt you that you're like, I'll never.
no. I don't think there is.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. Is there anything you think anybody could ever do to you that you would not forgive?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really given it that much thought.
Right. Yeah, that you would like to say no, right?
Yeah, I'd like to say no, but I bet there's always that one thing.
But like pastors often talked about, like his nephew was murdered and his sister was shot.
Yeah.
He was angry, but they chose to forgive.
Mm-hmm. Which that takes.
Same situation happens to you. How do you? Are you going to be in the courtroom and forgive that person?
I mean, at first when it happened, yeah, I'll be mad.
Right.
But
well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. People confuse. Forgiving doesn't mean you forget.
No, yeah. You can forgive, but you'll never forget what happened.
Yeah.
But I think over time, I would forgive.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I'm blessed and fortunate enough that in my life, I haven't had anything that traumatic happen where I'm like, I can never forgive that person for this.
Yeah, I haven't had anything come
I've
across
had a lot of
like
heartbreak and people do some pretty dirty things to me, you know.
But you always forgave after.
Yeah, it took a while sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I still think back on those things. Like I said, you'll never forget. So I'm just like, I don't understand why. A lot of those situations I put myself into, but it's like, I don't know.
They still suck at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That memory's always there, and there's always going to be that one thing that you always remember.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. Like there's some people I don't understand how they can be the way they are, but it's only by the grace of God that I'm able to get past it. And it's by the grace of God that I am where I am now. And I understand that whatever it is that I had to go through,
you went through it for a reason.
Yeah, there was a purpose for it. And
that's the way
I don't need to know why. I don't need to question God's will for my life. It just, man, all I can do is keep going forward and try to walk a little more like Jesus every day. I mean, that's the end goal. And that takes a lot of patience.
Oh, yeah. It takes...
Because patience isn't only just having patience with people, but it's also having patience with God's timing on everything. I mean, do you ever sit there and go, oh my goodness, when is this ever going to break?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I always think about that. Like, when is this going to take off? When is this going to happen?
Yeah.
It's just the stuff that is not in my control. I don't have patience for. I want it to happen now.
Yeah.
But I know that it's going to happen on God's time and not my time.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be rough because, man, we want things to happen
on our time
and
right now.
Yeah. What's kindness look like for you? I mean, what does kindness mean to you?
Just being who you are, not trying to pretend you're somebody else.
What about kindness in public?
Oh, not acting out, not being immature, respecting other people. If you don't know them, respect them. Like, if someone has a disability, don't.
Do you hold the door?
Yeah, I'll hold the door.
Do you hold the door for people?
Yep.
Do you have you ever paid it forward?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Where have you done that at? Paying it forward meaning like you're in front of somebody's Subway and you pay for their meal.
Oh no, I have.
Oh yeah,
I haven't
fine.
done that yet.
I figured.
Yeah, I haven't done that one yet. I want to.
Well, yeah. Like just showing kindness in a public space, kind of like I said, you pay for another person's coffee, not knowing their situation, just kind of like God's unconditional grace for us.
Mm-hmm.
That he's always going to show us love and compassion no matter what the situation we have, and we don't know what other people's situations are or whatever their thing is,
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have the means to be able to just pay for everybody's coffee or
Oh yeah.
lunch and stuff like that. I've done it a couple of times, but you got to be careful. Are you doing it because you want people to see you do it and you want people to sing your praises and pat you on the back? Because, it says in Scripture, don't let your right hand know what the left's doing or your left know what the right's doing and things like that, meaning, you don't do acts of kindness to get anything to glorify you. You do acts of kindness to point people towards God.
And to glorify God.
Yeah, so they see Christ in you.
And working through you.
By acting and doing things that are kind.
Mm-hmm.
So where are some times in your life that you've received grace from somebody, not just God, but just anybody? Apparently nobody has been nice to Theo.
There's been quite a few people that's been nice to me, but I don't.
Like, what about like a teacher? Maybe your parents.
Yeah, definitely them.
That have been patient, like we just said, or somebody's forgiven you for you might have wronged somebody. Or somebody has done some kind of act of service for you or did something for you that you didn't expect.
I don't think I've had that experience yet.
Didn't they give you like when you finished your schooling, didn't they give you a truck?
Yeah, they did for free.
And you didn't expect that.
No.
So, I mean, so that's act of kindness.
Yeah.
I mean, that's grace.
Yeah.
In a sense.
I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah.
That whole ordeal.
See? There you go, folks. But yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's happened in your life.
That's the biggest thing that's happened to me. And then my parents obviously have always been nice to me and shown me grace.
Yeah. Giving you a place to live.
Yeah.
Not charging you rent.
Yeah. But outside of my family, I'd say the biggest thing was that truck.
Right.
That was probably the biggest thing that I was not expecting of.
Yeah. What'd you do with it?
I'm still gonna rebuild it. It's sitting at the house still. I'm gonna eventually get an engine for it or rebuild the one that's sitting in front of it and get it running.
I've been shown so much grace. I mean, my in-laws provided me with a vehicle and my vehicle blew up. Then they provided me with another vehicle because, the other one was a gas guzzler. So they provided me with one that was better on gas, a little more reliable.
Mm-hmm.
I have a place to stay that I don't have to pay rent. I live on a gorgeous ranch that I can hunt.
Yeah.
That I can do anything. I mean, I can go out and just walk for miles, talk to God. I got a 2-car garage. I've got a wife we got beautiful kids. And I mean, God has shown me so much grace.
Oh, yeah.
People have always shown me grace. but I try to reciprocate that. I try to do the same things. Have you ever volunteered or maybe listened to somebody just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and you were just lending an ear?
Yeah, I've done that
Yeah.
quite a few times. Yeah.
Or volunteered your time?
I can't remember the last time I did that.
Like just help somebody for free?
Yeah, I've done that.
So that's basically the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, like it says in Matthew 10:8, freely you have received, freely give.
Mm-hmm.
So you give, and you give. So how should you pass on grace in your interactions?
I don't know.
So if you've been given love, you should give love.
Yeah.
If you've been given patience, you should be patient.
Yeah, you should give patience.
If you've been given forgiveness, then you should be quick to forgive.
Yeah.
All of those things, you can apply that to anything in your life. So, I mean, do you see yourself doing that more now?
Mm-hmm. I do. I definitely do.
Right. And then what about grace and personal growth, overcoming personal failures? How are you doing that?
I will try it again. Instead of just giving up after the first time it doesn't work out, I'll stop and I'll rethink the process of how I did it.
Right.
And I'll do it again.
So how can grace help in dealing with personal setbacks or sins? If we say we're going to use John 1:9.
Okay.
If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us of our sins.
Yeah.
And cleanse us of all unrighteousness.
Okay.
So how do you apply that in dealing with personal setbacks or sins?
I would say I just pray and ask God for guidance and show me the best way to go at the problem.
Right.
Instead of me taking on the challenge myself and trying to figure it out on my own.
So maybe confessing those things to God.
Yeah.
Maybe confessing those things to a friend.
Asking the friend for help
talking
as well.
to God, thanking God for his grace and mercy for, things, trials and tribulations in our lives. And, giving ourself grace to learn from these mistakes and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Because God does it to us all the time. So we should be able to do that to ourselves.
And to everybody else. Yeah.
So grace as a motivator for change. Grace isn't about complacency, but about empowerment.
Yeah.
Empowerment to change and grow in faith and character.
Mm-hmm.
So all those setbacks and all those failures and all those things should motivate us to then brush the dirt off our shoulders and go forward and grow in the faith.
Yeah.
You draw closer to God because of those setbacks and those otherwise what we think are failures and things like that. Because is that how you feel, or have you changed? Did it used to make you depressed and you just wanted to give up? How do you deal with that now?
So before, I would get depressed and I'd get anxious and then I'd just give up and not try it again. Mm-hmm. But now I learn from the mistakes, I learn from the failures, and I will try it again and try it again and keep going until I actually get it right. And in that process, I'll ask God for guidance, like I said, and then ask a friend for help, ask a friend for advice, see what they say, what their inputs are.
How does that help you grow? How do you grow in your faith?
Study the Bible. Yeah, study the Bible.
How does that look like? What does that look like now versus a year ago?
Better, because a year ago I wasn't even in the Bible.
But what does your study look like versus when you first opened the Bible?
Well, when I first opened the Bible, I started in Genesis, but now I'm reading Proverbs
Uh-huh.
And then the Bible study in the group, I'll jump back and forth from there to there.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever book I'll go through the Holy Bible app on my phone, and I'll scroll through the books, and if I see something that catches my eye, I'll start reading it.
So if you had to share a story of grace to a stranger, what would that sound like? What would that look like?
Of how God gave grace?
And just anything, how you would share how you were given grace either by God or by somebody else. Like, how would you share that with somebody?
I would ask them if they know what grace would be first. I would start off with asking if they have experienced grace, if they know what grace even is. And then I just go off from there and say, basically give them my testimony.
And how are you going to live out grace in any small way in your day-to-day, in your week?
Respect other people, show them kindness in any way that I can.
Yeah.
Offer them help any way that I can. And if they need somebody to talk to, just be that ear for them to talk to. Just any way that I can to show kindness and gratitude and support.
Yeah. Lamentations 3:22 through 23, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are anew every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Every day you get a blank. Your slate is wiped clean. You get to start over every single day. I mean, that's pretty encouraging. That's pretty great.
Yeah,
because
that is.
I struggle a lot with giving. I mean, I want to say that I give grace a lot, but then I struggle a lot of times because there are points throughout the week, throughout the day, throughout things that I'm just like, no. I'll say to myself, that person or that thing doesn't deserve grace.
Yeah.
Doesn't deserve my mercy. Doesn't deserve this. Doesn't deserve that. But then I don't deserve any of that from God, and yet He gives it to me every single day, and every day I get to start over.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking ill of anybody or thinking any kind of wrong to anybody, I need to practice grace and mercy. And yes, I can be angry, but I can't carry that hate and that anger in my heart because, man, that really takes you into a dark place. I mean, it's not good.
And then over time,
to carry that with you,
it starts breaking you down, and just all the other emotions follow
it'll
behind
eat you
it.
up and spit you out. I mean, it's rough. I mean, and I've always been a really patient person. I think that the Lord has blessed me with patience for sure.
Yeah.
Because I can take a lot. It takes a lot to get me to go over that edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgive pretty quickly and I forget pretty quickly. But there are some days where I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't handle this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to deal with any of it.
Yeah.
And I know that's not what we're supposed to do.
But you have days like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think almost everybody has days like that where they just don't want to deal with anything. They just want to focus on themselves and understand why they're feeling that way too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we got to remember all the time that Ephesians 2:8-9 says, "For by grace we have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing; it is a gift of God, not as a result of works, so that no one may boast." It's a gift. God gives us a gift every day.
Oh yeah,
every single day, and we should be eager to want to give that gift to others.
The biggest gift that He gives us every day is the gift of breath.
Well, I mean, but we got to live it out. We're going to talk about it. You got to be about it. And so we got to walk this out every single day. We got to exercise this every day when people are constantly, the wolves are knocking at the door and they're trying to bring you down, trying to make you angry. You can either give in to all that stuff, or you can get closer with Christ and dive into the grace and
Yeah.
mercy and have patience, forgiveness. Don't get so irritated at the people in line, the traffic, people cutting you off, all
Yeah.
these things get you so angry, and we just gotta work on it more and more. I mean,
No, I agree 100%. Yeah.
it's tough, but
It can be done.
yeah, for sure it can be done. We gotta walk it out. We gotta walk it out for sure. For sure. Have you had any opportunities lately to share your faith, to share gospel with anybody?
Not yet, but I'm really hoping that I do.
Yeah, people getting tired of you talking about it yet?
No.
No?
Nope.
You getting better at being irritated about people not being susceptible to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's still a challenge at times, but
Yeah.
it's getting better.
Still not going back to the truck crew?
I don't think so.
No?
I haven't given it that much thought. I'm just...
Do you think it's a lot because the people that are in that crew don't live the lifestyle that you're leaning towards nowadays?
No, it's just... I just kind of grew out of it.
Well, yeah.
Ever since I started going to church.
Is everybody in that deal around your age?
It's all different sorts of ages.
So there's old guys in it?
There's one. I think he's like 45.
And you guys just drive in a circle?
Well, I think they still do it, but downtown. Just go downtown and drive around down there. And then we'll come up Powers and go to dinners and lunches. And then we used to do fundraisers. I think one of the last ones that we did while I was in the crew was, it was martial arts from, I can't remember what it was actually for.
Well, who takes the money?
The people who were doing the fundraiser for.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it was for disabilities. It was martial arts for disabilities or something like that.
So what, you guys just do karate moves for money or what?
No, we held the fundraiser for them, and the people who were taking the money was there, and they were putting it towards their foundation. And we've done stuff for Tint World. I don't know if they're still a business or not, but when they opened up, we did a couple fundraisers for them.
So when you guys are driving around, do the cops ever get involved?
No, we haven't had cops get involved.
Do people get mad?
Yeah, it was iffy. It depended on the night, really. So there was some nights where we had people who were cheering us on, and then other nights where there was people who just absolutely hated us.
Because of the loud?
Yeah.
And all you guys trying to smoke people out?
Yeah. But then there's other nights where everybody loved it. So it was really just a hit or miss on what night we did it.
So you just driving up and down, listening to music?
Yeah, I listened to music. Everybody did. And then there was some nights where we went up to Manitou, drove around down there, and then came back down through Springs.
And then you go eat?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So was there like meetings?
No, just the meets when
just
we
meet up. And what was respect the spot?
Don't do burnouts, don't do donuts, don't do stupid stuff.
Okay.
We weren't there to do all that like most other crews were doing. We just went there to hang out and then take off.
Did you have like rival crews?
No. We were cool with everybody. We've done a couple meets with other crews. We've done collab meets. It's...
Did you have to pay money to be in that group?
More towards the end, Yeah.
What was the money for?
Because we were gonna do barbecues, camping trips, fishing trips, and stuff like that. And then it was for the stickers and the merch.
So do you guys have like a president
Uh-huh.
and a vice president?
Yep.
Were you ever one of those?
No.
Oh.
I was just a member.
What does the president do?
He's the one that finds the spots, hosts the meet. And
Do you vote him in?
No, he was the one who made the crew.
So it's a dictatorship. He's like, I'm the president. That's it.
He made the crew.
Yeah, but
We voted the vice president because the original one moved to Missouri, I think it was. So there was a couple guys, and he just said, "Hey, pick a name."
so if you got tired of the president too bad,
Just leave. We've had people that did that. They didn't like how he was running it and what he had to say and all that, so he just said, "Well, if
what
you don't
did he
like it, just
say?
Oh, they were bad mouthing him, just saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing," and
Yeah, but what would he say that nobody would what
Nothing.
would you
They
talk
just-
about?
nothing. We just all go around and talk to each other. There was really nothing like. No, it was fun. There was nothing really bad going on either. It's just the president would.
So when you stopped going, were they like calling you up like, "Hey, what's up? What happened?"
No, I texted the president. And I said, "Hey, this is why I'm leaving. I need time to focus on myself and figure out what's going on." And at the time, my torque converter in my truck was going out, so I said, "I got some problems going on with my truck. I need to get them figured out, and I want to back off and take some time for myself and just focus on myself." And he understood and respected that, and I'm able to go back and go hang out with them.
Yeah. So what if you wouldn't have said that and just left? Would they just like jump you in the street?
No, they would try to figure out what was going on. They would reach out to me and see if everything was okay and if I was okay.
What do they do in the wintertime?
Just they watch the weather and they plan meets for the better days.
Is the president your age?
We're 5 years apart. He's 5 years older than me.
So he's 26, 27?
20, somewhere around there, yeah.
That's cool.
And I got involved from one of my other buddies. I was like, "Yeah, I'll go. I'll see what it's like." And then ever since then, I just threw a sticker on my truck and I was in.
How many members?
Before I left, there was like 10 or 15.
Is there any Christian truck groups out there?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
So is that going to be the next thing you start up?
I've been thinking about it. I've been kind of thinking about it.
So then,
but I don't know yet.
So what would that look like? You guys would get together, have a Bible study, and then drive around, smoke people out?
No, I wouldn't do that. I definitely do a Bible study.
Yeah?
That would be something that I would do, would be a Bible study. And then I haven't really thought that far, but that would be one of the things that I would do.
So now what do you do for fun?
Nothing. What I consider fun is staying home, reading, studying, relaxing.
How much time are you putting into working on your vehicles at home?
I haven't really done that yet.
No? You used to be in there all the time, trying to get one more light on your truck.
Uh-huh. That's gonna happen again. But no, I've just been taking it easy for a little bit. I wanna do more research on it before I start tearing it apart, figure out what's actually going on,
Okay.
instead of just throwing useless parts at it that aren't gonna fix it. Because that's what I used to do before. I'd think one thing and then it'd be a completely different thing.
Yeah.
So now I actually want to take the time, since it's my grandpa's truck, and rebuild it the right way.
The one with the broken windshield's your grandpa's truck?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the one that's really bad, yeah.
How many trucks do you have?
2. The one that I'm driving around now is my dad's.
Okay.
The red and white one is my dad's. I have my green Power Stroke. Actually, 3. I have my green Power Stroke, my 1974 dump truck, and then the 1953 Chevy.
Whose car were you driving around?
That's Mom's.
Okay.
Yeah, I was driving that around first, and then she drove it 2 times, and she took it from me.
And does she still drive that Dodge pickup truck?
Dad drives that because she's driving the car.
What happened to his brand new truck?
Don't know. We went camping after my grandpa passed, and then we were coming home, and the front of the engine started leaking oil, and it just started knocking. So we haven't really torn into it yet. But yeah, it lost all power. It just quit running, basically.
And you didn't have no warranty on it or nothing?
No, it was a used truck. We got it used, so.
So you got nothing to pull that big old horse trailer now?
Yeah. We have our 550. We got a 2003 Ford F550.
Oh, yeah. And it runs really good?
When I figure out one of the electrical problems that it's got. But yeah, it runs great.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So you stay at home, you're studying?
Mm-hmm.
Just taking it easy. What are your hours like at work?
I get up at 5. I go to work, and then I usually come home around 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay there and work, try to get it knocked out.
Now it's just you and your dad?
Mm-hmm. Which is fine. We'll get it done.
Yeah. Well, sounds like you got things pretty well figured out.
Yeah.
Work on your grace.
Mm-hmm.
We get grace. We don't deserve grace, but we get it anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Forgiveness, patience, kindness.
Loving one another.
Oh, yeah. We got to do it, though.
Supporting one another. Being there.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That patience, man. We got to work on that.
Yeah, that patience is a really, really big one.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you when you're not thinking about it, you're not giving patience.
Yeah.
But when you're really thinking about it, then you start giving the patience.
For sure. For sure, man, but we could get it done.
Oh, yeah. 100% we
Get
can.
out there, practice grace, evangelism,
Mm-hmm.
discipleship.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
Oh, yeah. It's important to do that.
And for everybody out there that's tuning in, keep your eyes out for Brandon and Kevin.
They're missing again.
I think they're being trafficked. I think they got mixed up with the wrong crowd. They are being trafficked.
They got abducted.
ICE got them.
Oh. We don't know where they are. They're out there somewhere. So if you find them, please let us know.
And if you're going to talk about it,
You got to be about it.
yeah.